I grew up Catholic. So the first time I saw a blue album cover with a skeleton anti pope staring back at me, I generally thought, am I going to go to hell for listening to this? And somehow, that's how my favorite band entered my life. Ghost. So at the time, I'm watching this show on VH1 Classic called That Metal Show, and it had Eddie Trunk, Jim Florentine, and holy crap, Dom Jameson. That's who it is. I'm pretty sure I got that right. But anyway, they had this segment on the channel, or on the show called Pick of the Week. So each of them would recommend a hard rock metal album. And Jim Florentine one time introduced this band called Ghost BC. And, I'm looking at the album cover, and like I mentioned, it's a skeleton anti-pope overlooking a castle with its arms up, lightning and stuff like that. And in my head, and again, I'm still new to metal at this time. I'm still discovering a lot of different genres, and I'm like, is this satanic? And instead of turning it off, I was very curious by it. And I can't remember exactly how I obtained their first album, but I remember pressing play and I remember not stopping. So to this day, my favorite record from Ghost is Opus Eponymous. Now, I'm not saying any of the other records are not good. Trust me, all the other records are great. But this one is where it felt dangerous, because growing up Catholic, I thought if my parents walked in and they heard this, how was I going to explain it to them? It was like forbidden fruit, if you will, listening to this album. Like, let's go ahead and talk about when Con Clava Con Dio starts. So let me know if I said that right. Because, yeah, sometimes I feel confident, sometimes I don't. But anyway, when the bass creeps in and the drums and the organ starts screaming, and then all of a sudden you hear, Lucifer, we are here. And I just sat there thinking, this is insane. Those moments you wish you could go back in time and experience them for the first time, or maybe not even go back in time, just experience them for the first time. That was one of mine. Literally, it still to this day, like, I cannot replicate that feeling, but that is that song that did it for me. And then after a while, I just moved on to other bands because, I was still discovering a lot of different things. And I think Ghost didn't really release another record for quite some time. So I think it was kind of like, okay, I moved on. And then I didn't realize that they released 2 more albums. And another thing as well is I didn't even know that they took BC out of their name, because when I was introduced to them, they were called Ghost BC. When I rediscovered them, they were just called Ghost. And I'm like, I remember I loved their first album. Is this the same band? And I remember, it was on YouTube, just looking at stuff. All of a sudden I see this music video called Rats. It said Ghost Rats. I'm like, okay. And it shows, Cardinal Copia on it. And I'm like, that's not Papa. Even though at the time I didn't even know what a Papa was. Because again, I wasn't in the lore. I just liked the music. So I'm like, okay, what is this? New frontman. New look, bigger sound, right? Because it didn't sound like anything like the previous one that I listened to. It wasn't very doomy. It sounded more like arena rock in a way. Like my brother calls it, like metal ABBA. So I went back and I realized they didn't disappear. They had evolved, and they had all these amazing records after that first one. So as, time went on, I continuing to listen to Ghost, and I'm understanding their involvement. They're involving, you know what I mean? Because it didn't sound as doomy as they were before. It sounded more melodic, bigger, cleaner, more like, arena rock. So it was bothering me. And I remember when Skeleton came out, I was like, I wasn't into it. But after a while listening to it, and, I understand now. So I kind of understand the whole journey from beginning to present, you know? So I don't care if they're not metal like they were. Because the band that was forbidden, that felt really forbidden for me, was now something I could sing along in a packed arena. And I think that's the cool thing, because I got to go to my first ritual in 2022. So yeah, that ritual, I saw him in 2022 in Tampa, and it was an amazing experience. I haven't felt so great about a concert in so long. I still have some of the footage my mom captured, because I wasn't recording. I was just there, like just just taking everything in, singing almost every song. It's pretty much almost every song. I didn't sing to the Papa Nils saxophone solo, but anyway, I was singing to everything, and it was just, it was so cool. Like, listening to this band since 2011 and being obsessed with them from then, and then rediscovering them, and then finally seeing them. It was like, it changed everything. Like, I'm wearing my my Papa Emeritus, the first shirt, because shit, go in my closet. There's tons of Ghost shirts in there now. I got the albums in my closet right now as well. But it was such an awesome experience, man. Like, feeling guilty about listening to them, and then eventually being able to like go with my parents to see them. And now my mom is rocking out to Ghost, to my sister. Like, dude, that's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. But yeah, man, that's why Ghost is my favorite band of all time, and I will keep repping the ministry until my days are over. But now I want to ask you, do you like Ghost? What's your favorite album? What's your favorite song? I'll put mine down in the comments. Because yeah, the first album is my favorite of all time, but my favorite song is on a different album. I know, that's weird. But everyone, that's all I got. See you next time.